So after they listened to this podcast, Huang Meichang has now accepted that podcast into evidence, and then they're playing part of it to the jury right now.
So, Anna, if this is all meant to poke holes in the prosecution's case, how is that doing exactly that?
Well, listen, Todd Blanche is a very experienced attorney, and what I can tell you is I am sure he has a plan. You don't go into a examination like this sort of willy-nilly. He's been thinking a lot about this. And one thing that I can tell you is, and I'm interested to see if he can get there, and it's really difficult. You know, what we're seeing right now is a very different Cohen than the Cohen that we've seen leading up to this trial, right? Everyone's been talking about that, how sort of subdued he is, how he's been respectful, he hasn't lost his temper, and certainly isn't reflective of how we've seen him in TikToks and podcasts. And so one of the things that I'll be interested to see is either can the defense provoke him to sort of have one of these more outbursts that may be more in line with how he is normally? And if not, can they show the jury enough of how he is outside of the courtroom to say to them, basically, jurors, he's putting on a show for you here. This is not who the real Michael Cohen is. If you want to know who he is, we're showing you. Look at this podcast.
And
look at these tweets.
Listen to the tape, which he's saying on tape, which is played for the jury right now. This is Cohen on his podcast. I truly expletive hope that this man ends up in prison for the damage he did to me and my family. Revenge is a dish best served cold. You better believe that I want this man to go down and locked inside for what he did to me and my family. Then Blanche says, that wasn't the time of the indictment. Cohen, correct. Blanche, you testified on Tuesday that you did not enjoy prison, did you? Cohen, no, sir. Blanche, you said you believe the work you did with prosecutors and book and podcast played a role in the indictment in this case. And Cohen says, I took some credit,
so
yes.
That, Chuck, is an interesting aspect to bring up because, once again, why the insistence on Rosenberg? Why the insistence on the relationship, the friendship that they had different than a purely professional one? It seems like they became friends in many ways. What is it this could show?
Well, again, I think it shows somewhat bias. And again, I think there are three ways to cross-examine Michael Cohen: bias, inconsistency, and he's a convicted perjurer. If you pick your themes and stick to your themes, and everything you say and do is related to your themes, you're fine. But here's, and I agree with you, Todd Blanche, everything I hear, I don't know the guy, but I know people who know the guy, and they say he was a very good prosecutor. Mm-hmm. I'll accept that, but prosecutors don't get practice doing cross-examination. Defense attorneys do, and in order to be great at something, you need repetitions.
Not something he's done.
Well, this is only the second trial in which he served in that role as a defense attorney. He's got lots of experience as a prosecutor.
And it's not a criticism, but in 40 or 50 trials as a federal prosecutor, Anna, I rarely did multiple cross-examinations in a given trial and almost never cross-examined a defendant. Why? Because defendants almost never take the stand. So you could be a very good attorney, you could be a very good prosecutor, and still be new at this. And I think it's hard for lawyers, people in general, but lawyers in the courtroom, particularly with a client like Mr. Trump, to do the number one thing I was taught to do as a prosecutor, which is make your point, sit down, and shut up.
Which is hard for a lot of people to do, right? But Duncan, I mean, I'm hearing that he's, questioning him. What we're reading here appears to be more toward the proving his bias column that Chuck just outlined. Does it move the ball forward? I mean, they already have cross-examined him for hours on Tuesday. Is this moving the ball forward?
Well, it's a little difficult to criticize the defense at this point because they haven't had the opportunity to put their case on yet. And so we don't really know what their defense is. But reading the tea leaves, we can start to see what their defense is emerging from their questioning of Stormy Daniels and some of the other witnesses, and particularly Michael Cohen. They have to deal with the fact that there is an exhibit in that has I think shows the falsification of records on its face. It's Exhibit 35 and Exhibit 36, which is on First Republic letterhead, and it is a bank statement for Essential Consultants LLC, and it has Alan Weisselberg, who's the former CFO's handwriting literally all over it, figuratively and literally, showing that these numbers, these reimbursements to Cohn were grossed up for taxes. That on its face shows the falsification. What we're getting from these questions is that the defense is going to basically argue to the jury, Alan Weisselberg and Michael Cohn did this on their own.
But we haven't even heard anything about those documents. I mean, this is, you're right, a case about falsification of documents, about doing it in order to cover up what would be an election-related crime, as they've expressed. That's the secondary crime. The defense hasn't poked any holes. They haven't talked about 2016, 2017, and this whole transaction at all.
Well, what they have to do is be able to argue to the jury, you cannot convict this man, the defendant, the former president of the United States, based on the say-so of Michael Cohn, and there's no other evidence there. And the prosecution's going to stand up in front of the jury and say, first off, Michael Cohn is a liar. That's true. But you have to credit him in this instance because he's not lying in this instance. But look at all the other evidence here. Look at all the breadcrumbs along the trail which corroborate what he's saying. But the defense their point is going to be Alan Weisselberg and Michael Cohn did this on their own, and our client had nothing to do with it. To that end, if they try to dirty him up and make him look bad, that is going to be helpful to them. Now, is it enough? I don't know. They're doing a good job of making him look shifty, of having him, his answers look a little different than they did on direct. And to that point, again, it's easy to criticize not being there doing it, but the prosecution could have done a better job of deflating all of this by bringing out in their direct examination all of the instances where Michael Cohn shows bias or was lying, and they could have done a better job of deflating that to take the wind out of the sails.